Hi humans, it's me again, nature. We need to talk about something you pretend not to notice. But never stop judging. Body odor. Not the kind that comes from skipping showers for a week. Not the kind born from neglect, filth, or refusal to care. I'm talking about the kind that clings, even after 2 or 3 baths a day. The kind that survives soap, perfume, deodorant. The kind that makes a person afraid to hug. Afraid to sit too close. Afraid to fall in love. You've been taught to call it dirty. You've been taught to wrinkle your nose. To whisper. To laugh. To label. You were not taught the truth. So I will speak on behalf of those who are too embarrassed to stand here themselves. Those whose bodies carry scents they did not choose. Did not invite. Cannot fully erase. Some of them have livers that struggle to filter. Kidneys that cannot clear waste. Hormones that shift the chemistry of sweat. Genetic codes that alter how their bodies break down certain compounds. Some of them live with trimethylaminuria, a metabolic variation that makes one molecule linger like a stubborn echo. Some of them sweat more than you can imagine, hyperhidrosis. Not because they are nervous or lazy, but because their glands are wired to overflow. They bathe, they scrub, they change clothes, and still, the scent remains. You call it gross. I call it a variation. And then there are those whose noses cannot smell at all. Anosmia. They do not know when their shirt needs washing. When their hair holds yesterday's air. When their body carries a scent others notice. They move through the world without the feedback you take for granted. Some were born this way. Some lost it through injury, illness, or time. Some individuals carry a nose that cannot detect what others complain about. You judge what they cannot even perceive. Let me tell you something about scent in my world. I made onions and garlic sharp on purpose. You call them stinky. Then sauté them in oil and call it dinner. I made cilantro polarizing. To some, it is fresh and green. To others, it tastes like soap. I made flowers sweet, soil earthy, rain metallic, pine sharp, smoke alarming. I even made decay smell strong. Not to punish you, but to summon my cleanup crew. Flies, beetles, bacteria, fungi. They follow the scent of rot and waste. So the world does not drown in what it leaves behind. Scent is not moral, it is information. Sometimes, your nose turns certain smells off. You love a fragrance so much you flood your space with it. And your body quietly says, this is too much. If I keep smelling this, I won't smell the fire, the gas leak, the danger. So it dims that one note, shuts down that one channel, to keep the emergency lines open. You think, I can't smell it, so it must be faint. Meanwhile, the hallway is full. The neighbors complain. The therapist opens a window. And no one tells you why. Your nose is adaptive. It chooses what to smell. So when you meet someone whose body carries a scent you find unpleasant, pause before you decide they are careless. You do not know their liver. You do not know their kidneys. You do not know their hormones. You do not know their glands. You do not know their nose. You do not know their story. You only know your reaction. And your reaction is not the truth. They avoid intimacy. They avoid sitting close on buses, leaning in at movies, dancing at weddings, laughing in crowded rooms. They live in a constant state of self-monitoring, wondering, can they smell me? Is it bad? Am I hurting them just by being here? Some of them have been humiliated on national television, called out for odor by people who never asked about their medical history, never wondered about their nose, never considered their condition. Reality shows turn their pain into entertainment. Comment sections turn their existence into a joke. I am here to say, enough. Not everyone with body odor is a filthy hoarder. Not everyone with body odor is unhygienic. Not everyone with body odor is neglectful. Some are living with variations you were never taught about. So let me offer you an educational course, wrapped in spoken word instead of charts. If someone smells and they are doing their best, bathing, washing, changing, caring, your job is not to shame them. Your job is to learn. Ask yourself, what if this is a condition? What if this is a variation? What if this is something they cannot fully control? Ask yourself, how would I want to be treated if my body carried a scent I could not escape? And to those living with this, you are not disgusting. You are not a failure. You are not unlovable. You are not a mistake. You are a human being with a body that processes the world differently. You deserve medical care, not mockery. You deserve understanding, not exile. You deserve touch, if you want it, without someone flinching. You deserve love that sees beyond scent. I am nature. I do not make mistakes. I make variations. Some of those variations are visible. Feet, faces, limbs. Some are audible. Voices, stutters, silence. Some are olfactory. Scents that linger. Odors that announce. Fragrances that divide opinion. None of them are moral failures. From this day forward, when you encounter body odor, let curiosity rise before judgment. Let compassion rise before commentary. Let education rise before ridicule. I am nature, and I am speaking on behalf of those too embarrassed to stand here. May you hear them in my voice, and may you never weaponize your nose against another human being again. I am nature, and I do not make mistakes, only variations. I'm here to teach you something you were never taught, something you've misunderstood for generations. The medical reality behind chronic body odor. Scent is one of my oldest languages. I made onions sharp, garlic bold, cilantro polarizing, soil earthy, rain metallic. I made certain plants fragrant, others pungent, others neutral. Variation is normal. Variation is intentional. Variation is everywhere. Now let's talk about humans. Specifically those whose bodies produce odor, even when they bathe multiple times a day. Some live with trimethylamminuria, a metabolic variation where the body cannot break down trimethylamine. The odor persists not because of hygiene, but because of chemistry. In nature, this is like a plant that produces a compound it cannot fully convert. The scent remains part of its chemistry, rain or no rain. Some live with hyperhidrosis, a condition where sweat glands produce far more moisture than average. Sweat itself is odorless, but excess moisture feeds bacteria, and bacteria create scent. In nature, this is like a spring that flows more heavily than the ground around it can easily absorb. Moisture itself is not the problem, the volume changes the environment. Some live with hormonal disorders that change the composition of sweat. In nature, this is like the shifting scent of soil after a storm. The chemistry changes, and the aroma changes with it. Some live with kidney conditions that alter how waste leaves the body, causing systemic odor. In nature, this is like a river that cannot filter sediment. The water carries what the earth cannot strain. Some live with liver conditions that affect how the body processes toxins, resulting in distinct odors. In nature, this is like a tree whose roots cannot filter minerals. The leaves carry the signature of what the roots could not refine. Some take medications that shift scent as a side effect. In nature, this is like a plant absorbing minerals from new soil. Its fragrance changes because its environment changed. Some have skin microbiome variations, where natural bacteria produce stronger smells, even with perfect hygiene. In nature, this is like moss growing differently on two stones. The surface determines the scent, not the cleanliness of the stone. None of these conditions are caused by dirt. None are caused by neglect. None are moral failures. They are medical variations. Some humans cannot smell at all, a condition called anosmia. They cannot detect their own odor. The strength of soap, the freshness of clothing, the scent of sweat, or the presence of fragrance. They navigate hygiene without sensory feedback. They rely on routine, not detection. They rely on guesswork, not scent. Some individuals are born with reduced smell sensitivity. Some lose smell after illness or injury. Some are born without it. In nature, this is like a bird that cannot hear its own song. It still sings, but it cannot measure the sound. You judge what they cannot perceive. I am nature, and I do not make mistakes, only variations. Some humans live with diabetes-related odor variations, where high ketones create a sweet or fruity scent. In nature, this is like overripe fruit releasing a stronger aroma, because its chemistry has shifted. Some live with thyroid disorders, where hypothyroidism reduces sweat production, and hyperthyroidism increases it. In nature, this is like a season arriving early or late. Temperature changes alter the scent of the air. Plainly putting it, the body's pace speeds up or slows down, changing how much sweat the skin releases. In nature, this is like a stream whose flow shifts with the season. More water or less water changes the scent of the banks, even though the water itself remains the same. Some live with fungal skin conditions, where certain fungal overgrowths create distinct odors, even with excellent hygiene. In nature, this is like mushrooms appearing on damp forest floors. Not a sign of decay, but a sign of moisture and biology. Some live with genetic variations in apocrine glands, where the body naturally produces more apocrine sweat, which carries stronger scent compounds. In nature, this is like animals whose scent glands differ by species. Variation is part of design, not a flaw. Some experience diet-related metabolic shifts, where high-sulfur foods such as cabbage, broccoli, or eggs temporarily alter scent. In nature, this is like volcanic soil, rich in sulfur, rich in aroma, shaped by chemistry. This is like a field after certain plants are turned into the soil. The ground carries a stronger, sharper note for a time, because of what it has taken in. These are the stigma and misunderstandings. Humans have turned odor into a symbol of shame. You assume filth. You assume laziness. You assume neglect. But odor is not always behavioral. Often, it is biochemical. Often, it is genetic. Often, it is medical. Nature defends those who live with odor. People with chronic odor are not dirty. They are not careless. They are not unhygienic. They are not choosing this. They are living with metabolic variations, glandular variations, hormonal variations, organ-related variations, microbiome variations, and sensory variations. Their bodies simply process scent differently. In nature, every scent has a purpose. Every variation has a reason. Every aroma belongs somewhere. Before we move into grounding and closure, I, nature, will break the fourth wall. Does anyone have questions you would like to ask me regarding chronic body odor? Yes, you in the back. Go ahead.
Hi, nature. If someone has one of these medical conditions and we smell them at work or in a ride share, would they be upset if we gently let them know? I'm not trying to offend. I just don't know how to say it kindly. Especially if they can't smell themselves.
Here is my answer. If someone lives with a medical odor condition, the truth is this: they already know they smell different. Their bodies tell them in ways you cannot see. Their routines tell them. Their experiences tell them. Their memories tell them. But if they cannot smell themselves, gentle honesty can be helpful, as long as it is delivered with respect, privacy, and compassion. Speak softly. Speak without judgment. Speak in a way that protects their dignity. Say something like, "I want to tell you something with care. There's a bit of scent today. I know this isn't intentional, and I'm here to support you however you need." Kindness is the difference between cruelty and care. Tone is the difference between humiliation and help. Now, next question.
Hello. Hi, nature. Thank you for explaining these medical conditions. I honestly thought people just weren't bathing. I didn't know it could be connected to things they can't control. My question is, what if it's a spouse or child? We can be more direct with loved ones, but could our directness make them defensive since they cannot smell?
Here is my answer. When the person is someone you love, your honesty must be paired with patience. Directness without tenderness becomes criticism. Directness with tenderness becomes support. If they cannot smell themselves, your words become their senses. But your tone becomes their safety. Say something like, I want to talk to you about something important. There's a scent today, and I know you can't detect it. I'm telling you because I care, not because I'm judging you. We can work through this together. When love speaks gently, it is not taken as an attack. It is taken as guidance. Now, next question.
Yeah. Mother Nature, I'm actually the person with body odor. I want to know how I can manage routines if I have no one around to be honest with me.
Here is my answer. If you live alone, or do not have someone who can give you feedback, your routine becomes your compass. Create a schedule that does not rely on scent. Bathing at consistent times, washing clothing after each wear, using fresh towels, rotating shoes, keeping skin dry, using products recommended by medical professionals, and following any treatment plans you've been given. Your routine becomes your certainty. Your consistency becomes your reassurance. Your structure becomes your safety. You do not need smell to maintain care. You need rhythm, and rhythm is something I, nature, have given you since the beginning. Before I move into the grounding, does anyone have any other questions? No, then let me say this. For those of you who have questions, you were too embarrassed to ask. You can find your answers through a licensed medical professional, a certified dermatologist, a podiatrist, an endocrinologist, or a primary care provider who understands the medical variations we discussed today. These are the people who can give you accurate information, proper evaluation, and compassionate guidance, without judgment.
Now for the grounding. I want everyone here to settle into yourselves. You've learned much, you've unlearned much. And now your body needs a moment to absorb what your mind has taken in. So let us ground. Place your feet on the floor, not lightly. Let them rest with intention, as if the earth is reaching up to greet them. Feel the weight of your heels, the curve of your arches, the softness or firmness of your toes. Feel the temperature of the ground beneath you, whether warm, cool, or neutral. Do not judge it. Just notice it. Now let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw loosen. Let your breath slow, until it feels like a tide rolling in and out without effort. Place one hand over your chest or your stomach, wherever your body says, here, this is where I hold things. Let your hand rest there, like a leaf settling on water, and breathe in and out, in and out. As you breathe, I want you to imagine roots growing from the soles of your feet. Not roots of burden, but roots of connection. Roots that anchor you without trapping you. Roots that steady you without holding you back. Feel them reach into the earth, into soil that has held billions of variations, long before you arrived. Feel the earth respond, not with judgment, but with recognition. Now say softly, either aloud or within yourself, my body is not a mistake. My scent is not a failure. My biology is a variation. I release shame that was never mine. I honor the way my body exists in the world. Let the words settle, like dust finding its home. Let them soften the places where misunderstanding once lived. Let them rewrite the stories you were told about yourself or others. Breathe again, in and out. Let your body feel held. Let your mind feel quiet. Let your spirit feel unburdened. This is grounding. This is recalibration. This is the moment when knowledge becomes compassion, and compassion becomes practice. You are here. You are present. You are whole.